Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Monday, October the 23rd, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I'm founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our daily hypotheses or mini plans. We do create multiple plans in order to have a plan in place. We do not know what the market's going to do. Therefore, we take a look at the normal course of the auction, develop a plan for each scenario, and then wait to see what the market does, then execute the plan that best suits the market. This is not a hedge. This is not trying to cover bases. This is actually being prepared to know what to look for and what to do when we see certain things happen in the market and how to adjust our trade plan accordingly. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to. In the pre-market session, then we do live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. And any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. So taking a look at Friday, again, this market just does not want to go down. We opened up out of auction, out of range, out of value, open auction, out of range. They came back slightly, found buyers, and then just rotated up and went towards that all-time high and the adjusted or the Globex unadjusted all-time high and the overnight high. Broke that, went sideways, came back to the mid and the VWAP for a nice mid-long, created a double distribution, a lot of double distribution days as of late, and then went and closed near and put in new all-time highs. VPOC continued to adjust up, so that is telling us that failure to close the gap and the value shifting at the end and closing at the highs is that we were likely to get continuation once the market reopened. And of course, we opened up at 72, 75, rallied, put in new all-time highs yet again. So we have a new all-time high at 77 and a quarter, which is a Globex unadjusted high. Rotated back to the 72, couple ticks below the open, and then found our buyers again, rotated up, and again, we have value shifting higher above the prior day range. This market has just got no pullback whatsoever. This is just absolute parabolic. So inventory overnight is basically 99% net long. We do have a bit of cup and handle scenario going on right now in the Globex. We'll take a look at that when we get to the other charts. Let's take a quick look at news. We had Chicago Fed national activity came out better as expected. We had wholesales month over month for Canada came out at 0.5 versus 0.6. We've got some news coming out of Europe, but basically, the next news is the 3-month bill and the 6-month bill at 11:30 Eastern time. Not a lot of news. There's not a tremendous amount of news other than you've got GDP that is going to be coming out later this week, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. I always like to just take a look over the weekend where we are in terms of the commitment of traders. You can see that this rally is being completely controlled by large spec. And to me, these are the algos. We're in very low volume. They continue to get more net long, while commercial is getting more net short. So this rally, to me, still has room to go because retail has not flipped to the net long yet. We're still net short. So very much in my personal opinion, it's large spec algos that are controlling this market right now and continuing to push this at new all-time highs. But let's take a step back and take a look at the market macro to micro like I usually do each day. I like to start with a simple candlestick chart and work my way from a monthly chart down to the intraday. I use my TOS paper money. I like the drawing tools. Whoops. I like the drawing tools that TOS. I use TOS for my options, but I don't, not for my futures. But I love the charting package. So you've got very, very strong. Now we are now testing the upper line of the weekly upward trend, but we're in this upward sloping fork on the monthly with no end in sight. This is our 12th month of one time framing up on the monthly. Nowhere close to challenging the trend. We don't challenge the trend till we get back into that 24.38 and a quarter. Going to the weekly, you can see we are coming up towards this upper channel line up at 94. We're getting closer and closer to that 2600, and Goldman Sachs, we're saying that they're expecting 2600 before 2500. The trend doesn't get challenged until we get down to the 2875 area on the weekly. Great slope, great separation, and again we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry. This did violate the one-time framing. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our 5th month up of one-time framing up. Just very, very strong. Going to the daily, you can see that we had that one pullback on Thursday to get rid of weak, longs, and then they rally it right back up and get the continuation on Friday and so far in the Globex. Great slope, great separation, prices paralleling the 9 quite nicely. Going to the intraday, you can see that we've come up, we're creating consolidation above the 9 and the 20, which generally leads to a move and a continuation pattern. Going to the 1 hour, you can see that this is a bit of the cup and handle I was talking about. I just want to take a quick look at it. So let's draw it up so that we've got it. Let's make sure it's valid. It is validated. So our primary target on this is 2580. It will be violated if we get below the 73.50 area. So just keep an eye on that. But the trend itself, we went to challenge the trend with the break below the 9, did not get to the 20, popped right back up, and we get a continuation to the upside. Going to the 30-minute, again, above the 9, above the 20, came back and tested the 20, but bounced. I mean, I can't, there's almost only so many ways I can say the trend is up and every single time frame. Just nothing to halt this market. So if we take a look at the structure, you can see here we are again, and we gapped up, went into price discovery, balanced out, created fair value, new fair value, higher at 48.75 just before the breakout. Sorry, as we broke out of value, we accepted the price higher above the value, and then of course we gap up on Friday and get the continuation up. Not much to guide us here. We got a couple measured moves. I don't have them on this chart yet, so let's just get them over here. So basically, very blunt, only one day, and we're currently right now likely to get another gap up day. 73 is a level to watch. Really, nothing to me is going to guide me until I get below the 66. Below the 66, then I'm looking for the half gap and a possibility of coming back and coming down to this last price they accepted after the breakout at 59 and a quarter. Value area high is right here at the 55, 75, 56 area. Once we're back in there, the targets is 53 and 48.75. But again, not a lot to guide us right now. So if we take a look at measured moves, I have a measured move that runs, it's a fib extension from 9.5 to 9.20 to 9.25. That gives me a measured move at 80 and a quarter. And then I've got one from 6.29 to 8.8 to 8.21, and that gets us to 87. I'm not going to put the dates in. You guys can go look edit preferences, and if you need the dates, just ask me, and I'll give them to you. You can look it up, and that's it. So not a lot to go on. Our Globex low is at 72. Our week open is 72.75. Our overnight high is the new all-time unadjusted high at 77 and a quarter. I don't know how many times we've been doing this. Overnight high and all-time high Globex. Our all-time high in the RTH is 74.50, so I am expecting those two highs to get equalized as the concept goes. Our daily ATR is running at 1093. That's the 20 period full session average true range. So off of the overnight low of 72, our upside daily ATR target today is at 83. Off of the overnight high of 77 and a quarter, our downside daily ATR target is down here at 66. And I just want to verify this this gap zone. Sorry, the close here was 25.60.75, and the open here was 25.69. 25.65 is our half gap. Okay, it is correct. All right, in terms of levels, well, we've got a double distribution, and this is going to be our key over underline. Obviously, we have to pay attention to the 74.50, the previous all-time high. Then we've got our week open and our naked VPOC down here in the 72, 75, and 73 with our overnight high just below that at 72. Below the mid, the LVN, the VWAP, I'd be targeting this HVN. This is where the VPOC was prior to the shift up into the close. And then, of course, just below that, you've got the value area low. And then below that, I'd be looking for a move down into the 66. And once we're below that, into the gap. And then you've got the range at 61. And my key line in the sand is going to shift up to this 55.50. Because that puts us back into value if we get below it. Delete, delete, delete. Okay, and then we've got the microcomposite VPOC all the way down there at the 49. Oh, we've got 53 we've got to pay attention to as well. All right, so in terms of hypotheses, well, I mean, we're at all-time highs. I'd like to say I have a good read on this. I mean, we're about to even probably put in new all-time highs coming in to the RTH, so we're likely to take out the overnight high and create a new all-time high even before the open. But in terms of the auction, I'm looking for an open auction out of range, a move down into testing the range, closing the gap, coming down into the 73, and somewhere between the 73 and the 69, I'm expecting initiative buyers to step in and rotate us up and make new all-time highs. I'm not looking for a lot of range today, so I'm thinking we're probably going to end up chopping in this range high from Friday and fighting this for most of the day. Possibly even getting up into that 80.25 measured move, but ultimately coming back and closing somewhere inside of Friday and closing the gap. So open auction out of range, a move down. Okay, finding initiative buyers down here, rotating us up, chopping at this 74 to 77 area and pushing up to 80, and then finding responsive sellers, rotating us back down and closing somewhere down here in the upper distribution. That is hypo 1. Hypo 2 is an open auction out of range and another gap up day, a gap and go. Failure to come down and close the gap. I mean, it's not a huge gap, but we have to think in terms of the possibility of getting initiative buying right off the start, going and making new all-times, pushing up into the 80s, and then finding responsive sellers and just going sideways between the 77 and the 83 area. That is hypo 2. Hypo 3 is an open auction out of range. Make new all-time highs, equalize the high against the Globex, then find responsive sellers, rotating us down into the upper distribution, chopping around, fighting the 69, then failing, and then coming down into the lower distribution, testing that, and then finding responsive buyers down here and rotating us up and closing somewhere in around the 70 to 73 area. That is hypo 3. Hypo 4 is a failure day, open auction out of range, come down, immediately test this 69, 70 area, fail, come down and close this gap and come down to the 61 and close down here between the 60 and the 65 area, coming back in to close the gap. There is a fifth alternative, which is basically just sideways with a 5-point or 6-point range going nowhere, and just sort of teasing both sides as we come into this week. Taking a look at gold. Gold has come back to the composite VPOC. We are trading right here near the most traded price, going all the way back to 2008, October the 24th, 2008. If the composite does not hold and we break below the 71, 72 area, then I'm looking for a bigger push down. And I don't think that this time coming down into the 63 area is going to get our bounce. I think we're going to have to come down a little bit lower. Remember, the next big target below is now down at the 1247.48 area. So likely to come back and test those 1250s if we don't hold the 71. Immediate target is going to be the 66 to 67 with 63, but ultimately I expect that to fail if we come down there, as we've already gone down and picked up the late buyers there. So we probably have to price discovery lower. Anyway, that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.